Okay, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, well, we're not gonna do Raw because I forgot that King of the Ring tournament was scheduled after we did week 16. So yeah, here we go. King of the Ring. This is gonna be in three parts: the quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. Part one will be the quarterfinals, of course. Raw's random selections, of course. This has been announced like 2 weeks ago in Universe Mode time. Well, Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Silas Young, The Miz. ECW's random 4. Chris Jericho, Raven, Finn Balor, and Baron Corbin. Jericho currently number one contender for the lightweight title over in ECW, but we shall see what happens there. And SmackDowns. They have Kazuchika Cosmo, Joe Cesaro, and Eddie Guerrero. A whole lot of build-up. Previously on main event in the highlights, we have Fail Fury. ECW matchup between the whole ECW 4 competitors, and we also got Raw versus SmackDown Superstars matchup where we had 4-on-4 tag team with Raw's 4 versus SmackDown's 4. And after that, we had the fail for between all 4 of the ECW competitors competing in this King of the Ring tournament. And that was over on main event. You guys can watch the highlights of that because Superstars main event and NXT will have highlights, stuff like this, which is not necessarily a pay-per-view, but like special events and the whole monthly live events. And of course, Raw, ECW, and SmackDown will now have, well, they will stay with voiceovers, but Superstars moving over to having highlights. Main event, something new that we're starting, that's going to have highlights. NXT has been having highlights. Episode 3 will come out whenever it actually happens after week 17, progressively really ends. It hasn't even started yet because this is how we end up week 16. But anyway, Baron Corbin represent ECW here. Silas Young representing Raw. And here is the brackets. I was too lazy to actually put in a picture for the brackets, which is why I'm not doing that at all. Barry on 20%. It's no longer 20%. But yeah. But moving on. Raw versus ECW. This one, Silas Young for Raw, Baron Corbin for SmackDown. Baron Corbin for ECW. After this one, Kazuchika Kyle represents SmackDown. He takes on ECW's Finn Balor. Balor's currently in a program with Corey Graves. We shall see what happens if Balor is to win this King of the Ring tournament, but first he's going to have to get through Balor. He's going to have to get through Okada and many more. Third matchup of the night here, Sami Zayn representing Raw. He takes on SmackDown's Eddie Guerrero. That's pretty much a dream match. That'll be awesome to watch. Okada and Balor, of course, a New Japan Pro Wrestling type matchup right there. Dream matchup again. SmackDown, Samoa Joe take on Raw's Randy Orton. That should be interesting. Raw versus ECW for The Miz versus Chris Jericho. And then the final matchup of part 1 here in the quarterfinals, we have Raven representing ECW. He shall take on SmackDown's Cesaro. And hopefully in the end, in the finals, we shall have a triple threat between Raw versus ECW and SmackDown. But we shall see, depending on how many people survive. There should be 2 surviving for Raw, 2 surviving for ECW, 2 surviving for SmackDown. So we could have it even, and 2 to be eliminated from Raw, ECW, and SmackDown each. So it could also be even and have a more likely chance of it becoming a triple threat. But I highly doubt that. We shall see what happens. Anyway, Silas Young, definitely the least fan favorite in this tournament. You definitely gotta think he's the least fan favorite. Him or Raven. Chris Jericho, of course, did win a battle royal to crown number 1 contender for Adrian Neville's lightweight championship over on ECW. So Jericho, if he wins this tournament, he could not only main event SummerSlam against current ECW champion Minoru Suzuki, but of course Suzuki still has to defend his championship against Braun Strowman in Strowman's rematch clause matchup. But we shall see what happens. Jericho currently will face off. He has guaranteed opportunity to face off against Adrian Neville for the lightweight championship, so he'll still have a title opportunity even if he loses this tournament. But it just won't be all that major. And Silas Young almost picking up a victory off the monkey flip against Baron Corbin, now wearing down the arm of Corbin. Baron Corbin, he's not all that much of a fan favorite in this tournament, but definitely has the votes of some people. Silas Young the least amount. Silas Young definitely the least fan favorite in this matchup. If you really think about it. Now Young could almost picking up an easy victory with that stunner counter. And now wearing down Corbin, Silas Young actually is surprisingly doing very well against Baron Corbin. Of course, Young debuted in Raw back in week 9 or week 10 or whenever. Week 11, well, there it goes. Like I said, least fan favorite, and Corbin picks up a victory. Makes Young tap out. We're not going to use no cutscenes with the King of the Ring logo because let's just skim by through this. Corbin, he advances further in the tournament. So there you go. Baron Corbin making Silas Young tap out. I was saying of how Young was doing in the matchup. Commentary scars. Corbin makes Young tap out to a hammerlock. So yeah. Silas Young already eliminated. The least fan favorite one in this matchup is gone already here. And now, Okada and Balor. This definitely is going to be a good matchup. We really think about it. Okada, of course, over on SmackDown. Balor on ECW. Balor has been probably the most 50-50 wrestler of Universe Mode. A whole lot of losses, but a whole lot of wins under his belt. But when it comes to rivalry matches, especially in the beginning of Universe Mode, when he had his rivalry against Braun Strowman, he kept losing. And now currently, he keeps losing to Corey Graves. Graves, of course, the newest superstar to ECW as of week 12. Or week 11. No, week 12. But Corey Graves has actually finally lost in your latest episode of ECW to Finn Balor. So that is something right there. And now Okada wearing down the ankle of Balor with the ankle lock on the ring apron. Of course, submissions, pinfalls do not count in the ring apron. And I know I usually add in when there's interpromotional matches, for example, on Superstars and stuff. Well, it used to be on Superstars. Now the promotional matches between Raw vs. ECW vs. SmackDown are now on main events. So Superstars could be able to... No, Superstars has the promotional matches still. Main event has... Alright, whatever. I'm confusing the order here. There's too many shows to cover up here. But, nice to say... I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. I quit this. And there goes Balor. Shotgun dropped it off top rope. Okada not going to sell that at all. Okada, he's had a bumpy road here in Universe Mode, if you really think about it. He hasn't been doing all that well here in Universe Mode. Lately, he's been doing well for the past, 2 weeks of SmackDown, to be fair. And if not the past episode of SmackDown, where he won the tag team matchup between himself and Cesaro versus Samoa Joe and Eddie Guerrero. Of course, those 4 men are in this tournament. In the hype-up. And Okada did win by pinning Samoa Joe. And then, lately, in the, main event highlights? No, Superstars highlights, we did have Cesaro ending up pinning Sami Zayn of Raw. So we could have Zayn versus Cesaro in this tournament. We could probably have that. We shall see. But Cesaro did pick up a victory for Team SmackDown against Team Raw last night on Superstars in the main event of Superstars as well. In the highlights of it as well. And now Okada keeping Balor grounded, takes him into the ring finally with that suplex. Shoots Okada on a roll here. Can he be able to get his career here in Universe Mode back on track? Didn't do all that well against the Big Show when he had his rivalry. He did pretty decent in his normal contenders matches. Came so close, but yet so far. So Okada looking for a major victory here in Universe Mode. And this could be perhaps his biggest one here against Finn Balor by advancing to the semifinals. And Balor, like I said, not doing too well himself, but not doing too bad either. And now, Finn Balor, never mind, I was about to say, has him wear down with the crossface, but no. Okada able to counter with that back suplex. And now Balor springing back up moments ago. And Okada takes him down with the dragon screw. Grabbing the legs once again, picks him up off the ropes. Never mind, then Okada gets her crowned for his troubles, but Balor, sadly, not much good ring awareness for Balor at that moment. As it is a rope break. And now Balor has him, never mind. Okada has him, sends him down. Balor very close to going to the outside of the ring. And Okada brings Balor back inside the ring, good thing. Of course, you're going to have to keep this match inside the ring. We could get some count-out victories here in this tournament. We could probably get some count-out victories. Now I actually remembered what I wanted to say, because usually when we do in-promotion matches that include ECW, that include ECW versus Raw or ECW versus SmackDown, we usually keep it the hardcore rules on, where it's going to be a hardcore match between ECW versus any brand. And if it's Raw versus SmackDown, then it keeps it 1-on-1. But no, in this tournament, all matches will be 1-on-1, so it's not going to favor ECW superstars with no disqualification type stuff. So it's probably not going to favor Balor, because he's probably used to those situations dating back to, of course, Universe Mode in ECW episodes where every match is Extreme Rules, and Raw and SmackDown, I guess, just depends on the storyline where it turns into a no-disqualification matchup, and those rules are being set here. So now Balor, he could easily get counted out here on a count of 8. Like I said, Balor not his comfort zone here. The count out could favor Okada here. Okada, he's milking down the time. He's on count of 4. Balor on count of 9. Referee needs to try to catch up with Okada for a short few count. And Balor's up next, perhaps. Yes, it is. And Finn Balor, it hits 10. Okada advances in the tournament. Finn Balor, very heartbreaking for Finn Balor. But, well, ladies and gentlemen, that now brings it down to right even, because we've had one ECW superstar win and the other one lose. So I guess that's even so far. And so we have one Raw superstar eliminated. inside Young, but now we got Sami Zayn representing Raw, Guerrero representing SmackDown, and Guerrero easily going for a backside right there. Not gonna even get one count. Zayn perhaps saw that coming, but now Guerrero taking him down with these multiple strikes into the headlock, wearing down Sami Zayn. This is pretty much a dream match if you think about it. The amazing charisma of Zayn and Guerrero collided, not to mention the amazing wrestling ability of both these two men. Really could bring on a good matchup here in the King of the Ring tournament. WrestleMania worthy, to be fair. Along with Samoa Joe taking on Randy Orton, which is going to be the matchup that's up next. Not to mention we could get a whole lot more dream matches. We already had Balor and Okada. That wasn't much of a very necessary. It was a decent match, to be fair. I was going to say it wasn't necessarily a great match. It was a decent match, I guess. But at this point, we could perhaps get Zayn taking on Okada or Guerrero taking on Okada. Oh, wait, no, we can't have that. We could, but we could probably have that in the finals because they're not going to face against in the semifinals. So at this point, going over the bracket, Corbin defeated Young. So Baron Corbin, he could take on either SmackDown Samoa Joe or Raw's Randy Orton, depending on whoever wins that matchup, which is up next. Okada defeated Balor, so therefore Shinsuke Okada could take on Raw's The Miz or ECW's Chris Jericho. And depending on who wins this matchup, either Sami Zayn or Guerrero, they could take on either ECW's Raven or SmackDown's Cesaro in the semifinals to then lead into a triple threat to see who main events SummerSlam for the brand, and with a title opportunity with either the WWE, which is Raw's championship, the ECW title, which of course is ECW's, or the World Heavyweight Championship, which belongs to SmackDown. And Zayn taking down Eddie, but now Eddie trying to go for a sunset flip, but Zayn countered. Now multiple more counters here, multiple rope breaks here for both men. They're not being separated at all. Finally, as Eddie were able to push Zayn away and off him. Sami Zayn doing very well in this matchup so far. He has the upper hand against Guerrero so far in this matchup, but of course we could even have just a quick turn of events, as we did have earlier with Corbin making Young tap out with a hammerlock after Silas Young controlled the match for the most part of the matchup. If you really think about it, we could have the same outcome where we have Guerrero pull it off here. So far not doing it, but never mind. Gut wrench into a backwards neckbreaker, nicely done by Guerrero. Of course, his fellow nephew Chao Guerrero over on NXT and won the NXT championship from Mr. Perfect by using his rematch clause. If you guys did see the episode 2 of NXT in the Heights, which was uploaded this morning but was recorded last night, to be fair. But yeah, episode 3, and remember, Mr. Perfect now has his rematch clause, and depending on Perfect wins or loses, that's going to be the last matchup in a row between Guerrero and Mr. Perfect, because that's 3 matches in a row, and we're not gonna have over 3 matches in a row for a championship, because they give other people the opportunity. So yeah, if Mr. Perfect does use his rematch clause in the next episode of NXT, then whether he wins or loses, whether he becomes the new NXT champion or not, then there'll be a new challenger for whoever is the NXT champion. Anyway, Zayn taking down Guerrero with the fisherman suplex, nicely done. Surprisingly, he doesn't go over the bridge, but he's still wearing down Eddie with those multiple strikes onto the ground. Now camel clutch, wearing down Eddie, and Eddie with the count back suplex, trying to steal victory. 1, 2, and no, very close to count. Zayn springs back up, turns right around to him down the stretch. Now takes down Eddie. Very close to ropes to Zayn, but now rope break. That side how to take down almost getting Zayn the victory. Crucial point and moment in matchup, as it has now just picked up pace. As Sami Zayn with the figure 4 leg lock. Eddie escapes that, gets chopped down for his troubles. And now Zayn takes him down. Victory roll. That was going to go for a reverse dragon Rana. No, a victory roll. And Sami Zayn almost picked up the victory right there. That could have been it. And Eddie, her crown. Okay, that was a nice counter from Zayn. Back and forth action here. Sami Zayn still has been doing more damage to Guerrero, though. Gotta think here. Is the torch going to be passed here from Guerrero to Sami Zayn at this point? And Zayn takes him down with a stunner. Okay, then. That was something. Bulldog. Eddie, away from the ropes here, is going to kick out, and no, Sami Zayn advances. First competitor to win for Raw is Sami Zayn. So next matchup, here we go. WrestleMania Worry, it's Randy Orton, representing the Raw brand, taking on Samoa Joe, representing the SmackDown brand. This matchup definitely can main event WrestleMania. Title match or not a title match at all, it's going to be a good one, hopefully, perhaps, maybe. But now, so far, due to the result of the Sami Zayn versus Edgar matchup, Zayn now the only competitor of Raw, as we now have Corbin represent ECW, Okada represent SmackDown, Zayn represent Raw. So far it's been even. Now here, we shall see what happens. We shall have Samoa Joe or Randy Orton to represent their respective roster. Brand, and they will take on. Well, they will take on ECW's Baron Corbin, and it will be SmackDown versus ECW if Joe wins, or Raw versus ECW if the Viper Randy Orton wins here tonight. Well, the last matchup we shall have a quarterfinal term of this. We're gonna do the whole tournament today. I know I said I was gonna do it in separate nights. Well, night 1, night 2, night 3. I said that to make it sound. And it's gonna be split into 3 separate nights. It's not going to. It's gonna be different terms, all in one day. Because I want to try and do Raw today as well. Because I got no life. I want to quickly go into the pay-per-view, which is gonna be SummerSlam, of course. But we still got like 3 more weeks of build-up once we get into week 17. So yeah. Anyway, moving on. So, same saying, one for Raw. He will take on either ECW's Raven or SmackDown's Cesaro in the semifinals. And we could have Zayn versus Cesaro in the semifinals to have a little bit of a rematch of what happened in the 4v4 tag team matchup with Raw and SmackDown over on Superstars, your latest episode of Superstars, where Cesaro did pick up the pinfall victory with a Samoan drop counter. Cesaro countered the Samoan drop into a DDT onto Sami Zayn, which was pretty cool. It looked pretty awesome. And Cesaro won. Anyway, now Orton grounded, keeping Samoa Joe grounded, takes him out of the ring. And now, one stomp, just wearing him down a little bit into a sleeper hold and brings him down with a back suplex as well. Well, there you go. Randy Orton trying to keep Samoa Joe grounded in this matchup, but Joe, multiple strikes. Oh my god. Just slapped him, chopped him, slapped him, or chop, slap, chop, one of those, and then just super kick to Randy Orton. That was an amazing combo. That was awesome. Joe completely wrecking Randy Orton. I can find Samoa Joe doing that combo in real life. Just a chop, then a slap, and then a chop, or what's it? Or was it a slap, chop, and then a slap, and then a super kick? Now, either way, that'd be an amazing combo if Joe actually did it in real life. Anyway, Orton gets back to side. He gets back to side when he count 8. Joe off that combo. Very nice combo indeed it was. Keeping Randy Orton grounded this time, and the roles have been reversed as Orton had the upper hand against Joe in a short period in length of that matchup. And there goes Orton once again to the outside, and Joe nails it down. Swanton just taking it down to Randy Orton. Randy Orton's back getting even more crushed by Samoa Joe's whole body weight on that very thin layer of padding separating them from concrete. But hey, it's at least protection from the concrete. It barely has any, but still protection. Joe now make sure Orton doesn't even walk anymore with that Boston Crab, and Orton gets back inside ring at the count of 6. So did Joe, and Orton, after those strikes, keeping Joe dazed. Actually now has him grounded, cornered in those ropes, but Orton playing hide and seek. Well, not hide and seek, but cat and mouse here. Just escaping from Orton, and Orton walks into a German suplex by Joe, and that is it. Samoa Joe advances. SmackDown versus ECW. Samoa Joe versus Baron Corbin. Well, and I said Orton playing cat and mouse, running away from Orton, although Orton was running away from Joe, so that was my bad. I realized my mistake. Mistakes were made, and mistakes were later fixed. So Baron Corbin representing ECW. He shall take on SmackDown Samoa Joe. That was a pretty decent matchup right there. These matches are so far being short. What about this one? Jericho and Miz. Miz representing Raw. The only remaining Raw competitor besides Sami Zayn. And he could take on SmackDown's Shusuke Kyle, or should it be ECW's Chris Jericho? Jericho, the only one who still has a guaranteed title opportunity in this matchup. The only one who actually does. As he won the number contenders matchup. And he shall face off against Adrian Neville for the lightweight championship. But can Jericho also perhaps even face off against ECW champion, whoever that shall be, whether if it's still ECW champion Minoru Suzuki, or perhaps new ECW champion, once if that happens in the time period before SummerSlam, Braun Strowman, because remember Strowman still has his rematch clause, so Jericho could walk out after SummerSlam with perhaps 2 championships, the lightweight title and the ECW championship, but he's going to have to win this King of the Ring tournament. and then win this matchup against Strowman or Suzuki, or perhaps both if that turns into a triple threat. And also have to win this matchup against Neville whenever that happens, before SummerSlam or in SummerSlam. So we shall see what happens. I guess it all depends on where the dice rolls and on where, if Jericho wins this matchup. Because if he wins this matchup, he main events SummerSlam, and so his lightweight title matchup with Neville will happen before SummerSlam. And now Jericho has him set up, misses that dropkick after misses the double X handle, so both men missing their shots. And Miz gets shoved down right to the ground by Jericho, gets overpowered by Lionheart Chris Jericho. This is the WCW Cruiserweight version of Jericho, not the current day version. So this is going to be more of a high-flying Jericho, I guess. And now gets body slammed right to the concrete. No thin layer of padding to protect that from there. Although the padding doesn't do much help, at least does a little bit amount. Make sure that you don't break a bone in your body, I guess. And Jericho precarious position here. One of these men perhaps going to fall inside the ring, or worse, even outside of the ring. Who's that going to be? And it's Chris Jericho. Right through that announce table goes Jericho. And The Miz, well, he's been doing well for himself, I guess. He did pick up a victory against Silas Young in your latest episode of Raw. Not to mention, he was in the thumbnail for the first ever episode of Humorous Mode here in Brooklyn Revolution, and the first ever episode of Raw. So that was good. Well, necessarily not the first ever episode of Humorous Mode for this specific series, yes. Not for GWE. That was when I didn't know how to do thumbnails. I updated for some of it, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Jericho now. Walls Jericho applied on the outside. Not the Lion Tamer, which is the elevated Boston Crab, but the walls of Jericho applied. Is going to transition to a half-leg crab, perhaps. Nope. Because The Miz is going to escape. Miz did not tap out, though. So, if Jericho was to do the inside of the ring, who knows? Miz on count of 8 here. Jericho on the count of 5. And now Miz on count of 9. Jericho gets backside the ring. Does he? Never mind. He doesn't have to. Because The Miz gets counted out from the matchup. Chris Jericho sneaks up a victory. He advances to the semifinals. Miz not too happy with that outcome, but not to say moving on. Sixth and final matchup in this whole quarterfinal term of this video. Semifinal term shall be uploaded very, very shortly after this. And by very, very shortly, I mean an hour or two after this, because I still got to record the semifinal term. Anyway, it's Raven representing ECW, and it's Cesaro representing SmackDown. Here we go. So, here's the semifinal bracket so far. As we do have Baron Corbin representing ECW. He is going to take on SmackDown's Samoa Joe in the first matchup of the semifinals. Then, shortly after that, Shinsuke Nakamura representing SmackDown. He takes on ECW's Chris Jericho in the second semifinal matchup. And third and final semifinal matchup, we are going to have Sami Zayn representing Raw versus either ECW's Raven or SmackDown's Cesaro. Here we go. Both men on the outside immediately are ready, and Raven, Cesaro, exchanging strikes, exchanging blows. Multiple punches, multiple elbows, multiple strikes here, and Raven takes him down, shoulder breaker. Right to Cesaro, around the shoulder blade, the knee straight to shoulder blade. Both these men are just bringing on hell against each other here, multiple strikes. Of course, if they both get counted out, I guess, I don't know, something happens, I don't know. I don't know, I really don't think of that. Probably because it's not going to really happen. But we shall see. Cesaro now has Raven. There he goes. Raven walking right into a bed suplex from Cesaro. Elbow drop shortly after. Cesaro, he's been on a roll here in Euro's belt. Definitely a whole lot of victories under his belt. Close in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Very close yet so far. Almost won it though. And while trying to pick up Raven for a bit, but body drop, Raven counters with the powerbomb. That was a very nice counter. And off the ropes, misses Raven with the clothesline. Raven missed the clothesline. But now, it would try to rebound from that. Gonna hit Cesaro. Never mind. It's trying to set something up here. Okay, Raven's just not gonna do anything. Okay. And Cesaro sends Raven to the outside. Raven very close to laying on the steel steps. Very, very close. So Cesaro upper hand here. Elbows drops the steel steps instead of Raven. Missed that one by a long shot. Cesaro's elbow definitely got hurt after that. Straight punch right to the face. Raven simply kicks him down. Not Raven. Trying to think of something here. Has the steel steps. Gonna try to set up something. Perhaps up on hook. Suplex. Misses the steel steps just a little bit. Just a slight tad amount. Raven gets inside the ring on count 6. Cesaro brings him back. He gets inside the ring. Slowly waiting for Raven and Cesaro inside of the ring. Raven perhaps gonna get set up here. Yes, he is. Off the ropes he goes. And Cesaro, stiff punch right to the face. That was a very stiff punch right to the face. Couple more. Those very stiff shots brings Raven back inside the ring. That's Cesaro. Raven trying to catch a breather here, waiting for Cesaro. He's gonna set him up for something. Never mind. Cesaro sets him up. Backs up into a roll up. 1, 2. Only a 2 count. Raven now trying to do something here. Cesaro not gonna let any of his offense even happen. Camel clutch now. Raven escapes. And so, definitely a pretty good matchup here so far. I am enjoying this tournament so far. There's been some pretty decent matches. Short, but decent. And there goes Cesaro for his troubles, and Raven with the knee drop. After this, Cesaro crashes and burns to the outside. And Fisherman DDT. The Raven DDT. And Cesaro's head bouncing off onto the concrete. My goodness, Cesaro definitely must have a concussion after that. And, well, never mind, because he's thinking very clearly. Challenge whatever Raven was going to go for. Perhaps a victory roll, or perhaps a reverse Dragon Rana. Of course, if he was to go for that reverse Dragon Rana, that will have definitely done a whole lot more damage, as well it is doing a couple more damage to the head of Cesaro, as this time a regular DDT. And Cesaro not going to feel it at all. Head bouncing off concrete not once but twice of a DDT variation. A Fishman DDT and then a regular DDT. Cesaro not going to feel none after that. Not feeling nothing. No pain at all. Looks perfectly fine. And now, full Nelson. That was going to go for a suplex variation of the full Nelson, but no. As this match, pace slowed down just a tad. And Raven gets a taste of his own medicine with Cesaro, who delivers a DDT. Thought Cesaro's going to go off top rope. No. Gets back inside the ring. Perhaps just get a tad. Just perhaps to get a breather. And kicks Raven right in the stomach. Now Raven, well, he's getting his money's worth here in a challenge against Cesaro. Cesaro has him up. Neutralizer. Into a pin. 1, 2, and a rope break. Huh? That was the first that ever happened. Did Raven crawl or something? Whatever happened. But now let's say power driver by Cesaro after the neutralizer. Raven's out cold, isn't he? And yes, he is. Cesaro picks up a victory here tonight. There we go. Quarterfinal term has now ended. So here we go. This is what the semifinals now look like, and this is what's going to happen in the next video of the King of the Ring tournament, which is going to be a semifinal term. And we have Baron Corbin representing ECW. He takes on SmackDown's Samoa Joe in the first matchup. Later, then after that, second matchup, SmackDown's Kazuchika Okada takes on ECW's Chris Jericho. And your third and final matchup after that, Raw, Sami Zayn takes on SmackDown's Cesaro. And hopefully, we could get Raw vs. SmackDown vs. ECW in the finals, which is going to be a triple threat. And if we don't, we'll probably get 2 members of SmackDown or 2 members of ECW versus Raw, or we probably might not even have Raw's Sami Zayn in that triple threat at all. It depends. Zayn is gonna have to win this matchup against Cesaro to be in the finals and be the only representative of Raw, but we shall see what happens. Let's say thank you all for watching this episode of Humorous Mode. Well, necessarily this wasn't really a regular episode, so I won't be saying that, but yeah. This is the King of the Ring. This was the quarterfinal term. Next one's going to be the semifinal term. Corbin and Joe, Okada and Jericho, Zayn and Cesaro. There you go. Thank you all for watching, and goodbye.